whatever can get you in the dark can get you in the light. Hey, 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 beautiful peoples. Welcome to another COVID, you know, where I say stuff and you listen sometimes. Ooh, and sometimes I say something and you actually laugh, and that just warms my heart. It warms it. It warms it right up. Today, this episode is about 10 top 10 childhood fears. Now, a couple of years ago, I did childhood trauma, which is basically the same thing, but I never did put it in a way that I liked it, so I'm going to try to do this again. I'm going to put the original down in the description box thing. Now, thank you so much for going on this ride with me, where I speak about things that from childhood to teen years creeped me out, gave me a bit of a scare, you know, what have you. So, come along with me. Coming in at number 10 is a song from Rolling Stones by the name of Sympathy for the Devil. And, you know, it's a song that goes, pleased to meet you, hope you guess my name. You know, it's about the devil, I guess, and so that kind of freaked me out. And then it was in the movie Interview with a Vampire, so that just topped it off right there, because Tom Cruise was a vampire. That's scary. Coming in at number 9, we have Clue. Clue was a movie that is basically a comedy, a whodunit, if you will. Everybody's in this big house, this mansion. Somebody gets killed and they have to figure out who it was and who got killed over there and who got killed over there. But the thing that scared me as a kid was the fact that in this house there were secret passages. You didn't know where they were and who was there and who wasn't there. As I grew up a little bit older, I actually found that would be a fun idea to have secret passageways in your house, and I wanted some for my own, so it could all go into a game room. But you know, who knows if that's gonna happen. Alright, that was number 9. Coming in at number 8, we have the movie Goodfellas. Excellent movie. If you ever saw it, I'm pretty sure you agree. If you never saw it, I think you should watch it so you can agree with me that it's a really good movie. It has Robert De Niro in it. It has Joe Pesci in it. I probably messed up Joe Pesci's name. I'm sorry. Don't hurt me. But the thing that scared me when I was a kid was that at some point in time in the movie, the cops were going around the city and they were just finding dead bodies everywhere. They were finding dead bodies in the trash. They were finding dead bodies in trucks. They would find dead bodies in meat freezers and just everywhere. And I think now that I look back, I think that was actually based off of something that really happened in Philadelphia and in Chicago. That's just scary to me. You could just be doing your regular 9-to-5 job and you happen to, I don't know, open up a truck that you're supposed to be putting boxes in and you just see a dead body just looking at you like that's scary. I'm going home that day. I'm not I am not staying. Sticking with movies, coming in at number 7, we have the movie called Dead Presidents, which is a movie about Vietnam vets coming home. They're not really taken care of as they are supposed to be. They're messed up from the war. They have no money. They have to take care of people. They have to take care of themselves. So, you know, the main characters decide to rob a bank, and the cops eventually catch on that they have to find them. Now the cops break down the door of one of the characters who was in on the heist, but that guy happened to be a drug addict. So by the time they got to his place to find out, you know, what he knows and to get him to go to jail, he had overdosed on whatever drug he was taking. And the thing that scared me as a kid back then was the fact that the TV was still playing in his place, and the reflection of the TV was playing in his eyes, his still open yet dead eyes. That shot scared me so much as a kid. It's just so weird. And today, now that I'm older, I still don't know how they did it, other than maybe the actor was really good at sitting still and not blinking for a long while. Yep. Coming in at number six, you have Freddy Krueger. I think it was the number four, yeah, the fourth movie where he's going up against, well, actually, they're going up against him, and a woman is having a dream that she's working out, and Freddy Krueger breaks her arms, and the arms out of her arms uh, become these bug like arms, and then she gets stuck in this roach trap with the gooey substance that roaches get stuck in. So every time you try to move, every time she tried to move, it would rip something off like a leg and whatever. That sight, that particular effect was so good that it really left a scaringness. Coming in at number five, we have Tickle Me Elmo. I get it. It's a toy. And I know you say, Lena, how are you as a kid was afraid of a toy? Listen. I'm sorry, but Tickle Me Elmo, okay, Tickle Me Elmo only activated when touched, right? And my cousin had one. And for some reason, my cousin's stuff was in our basement. So every once in a while, from the basement, you would hear the Tickle Me Elmo go, that tickles, by itself in the basement. That's why it freaked me out. I think I'm perfectly justified of being afraid of a toy that is supposed to only go off when somebody touches it and is going off by itself in the basement. And at number four, we have the TV show Martin. Not the entire show, just one specific episode where the main characters went on a vacation and they were in a hut or whatever, and there was a tropical heat storm thing happening, and they were delirious from the heat and tired and everything. And one of the characters looked to the side of them, and they said, "I think there's a puppy in our room." And the other character looked and said, "That ain't no damn puppy." And of course, it wasn't a puppy. It was some sort of creature that looked kind of like a big old rat plus dog plus cat plus beaver. I don't know. Obviously, it was a fake animal, but the way it scurried, the way it made noise, the way it came out of nowhere, it was scary to a young me. It was 1990 something. So then you have the final shot in that episode where everything was dark, and you saw the final last bit of this animal, and the eyes were glowing red as it scurried off in the darkness. So yeah, that that got to me as a kid. If I can find at least a quick video of it, I'm sure now I would just crack up at it because it was also funny back then. But now that I'm older and I've dealt with different animals anyway, not too many animals scare me now. I'm pretty sure I'll laugh at that. And at number three, we have Tales from the Hood, which was a movie about these young guys going to get some drugs, I think, or some money from this weird guy. And it was at a funeral home, and they show up, and instead of like just getting the stuff and leaving, they were there for a while because the weird guy, the funeral director, kept telling them different stories, and these stories were horror stories that happened to be set in the hood, i.e. Tales from the Hood. And just the whole idea of that guy being weird, and he turned out to be the devil, and they turned out to be in hell, and you had dolls that were killing people, you had racist cops, you had people coming back from the dead, you had somebody who got their legs sawed off so the body can fit in the coffin. I mean, there were so many different things happening in this movie that scared little old me. I I don't even know how old I was. I can't even approximate when it came out. I could look and see what year that came out, but yeah, I'm not going to, because I don't want to know how old I was exactly. At the same time, some things were funny in it, like the dolls running around with little small knives and stuff, hacking at the one of the characters. It had a lot of good, more socially conscious messages as well, about black people and about society, so on and so forth. So yeah, I still watch that, still to this day. Coming in at number two, this one has to be at number two because it hits home for me quite literally. Because anyone who had an older brother, or has an older brother, or was slash is an older brother, knows that older brothers like to scare the crap out of their little siblings. And my older brother was no different. He was a genius at it, as a matter of fact. And needless to say, I was scarred for a little bit there. He would tell me a story. Okay, we lived in a 3-story house, and the top third story had 2 bedrooms, and the back bedroom was always colder and darker than all the other rooms in the entire house. And I never understood why then. Now I do. But there was a time where my brother told me a story about a lady, and the lady was dead, and she died in that room, and that's why it's always cold, and that's why it's always dark. And when you feel the cold in that room, that means she's there. So you better not offend her or insult her, or you'll be in trouble and she'll try to kill you. Called it the green lady, because when she showed up, it was, her skin was green, and there was a green hue around her, like a green light around her. And needless to say, that scared me so much. I couldn't go upstairs, especially by myself, especially at night, because there was no light in that back room. And that's where the quote from the beginning of this video happened. My mother actually would say that quote, and she would try to get us to realize that what can get you in the dark can get you in the light, And as a kid, I'm still like, I'd rather see it coming though. Can I have the lights on? But my mom was a boss like that. She had 5 kids, and she had to figure out how to get us all with it, So thanks to my mother, and thanks to my brother for making me now paranoid about everything he ever says out his mouth. As I got older, the room became comfortable. It had all my toys in it and everything. So yeah, it was a fun room after. Coming in at number 1, this is number 1 because I'm still kind of dealing with this now. And a few years ago, I discovered the name for it, which I guess is trypophobia or trypophobia. But when I was a kid, it would just be weird looking things that caused me to get really cold and itchy and had goosebumps and felt nauseated. And it was just perplexing to me, and I never saw anyone else around me going through that. Once I got a little bit older and the internet became a thing, I figured out I wasn't the only one with this type of thing. And trypophobia, if you don't know, if you haven't listened to my previous recordings, it's called the fear of holes. But what it really actually is a visual reaction to odd looking things. Sometimes they're holes and patterns that are placed close together, or oddly placed or oddly shaped. Sometimes it could be someone getting a splinter removed from a foot or something like that could trigger me. So, and even talking about it and trying to describe a situation that would trigger me can trigger me to an extent. So it's very much so not a fear, but rather a strong reaction to something that's odd and then you naturally wanting to avoid that reaction because nobody wants to be that uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be going through nausea just by looking at something. So that's still my number one. That brings me all the way up to the modern me. Now I'm able to put it into words. I'm able to point it out or talk about it. I'm actually, in particularly with the trypophobia, I'm going through exposure therapy with that right now. So that's interesting. The only way you can cure something is is purposely by putting yourself through it and just sticking with it, just like bearing it. Yeah. So that was Pleased to Meet You, Clue, Goodfellas, Dead Presidents, Freddy Krueger, Tickle Me Elmo, Martin, Tales from the Hood, Green Lady, and Holes. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.